We are happy to have back the Republican candidate for the 63rd House seat, and it's Matt Hall. Good morning, Matt. Nice to see you again.
Good morning, Tim.
Last time it was a hard-fought primary between you and the incumbent, and now it's moving on to the general election, which is, 2 weeks from tomorrow, right?
Yes.
Man, that's coming fast. So what have you been doing?
Well, I've been spending a lot of time knocking doors, getting our signs out, raising money, and also, helping some of my other Republican colleagues so we can keep a Republican majority in the state house, like Brent Iden and Dave Morgan.
Yeah, I see a lot of Iden spots on TV and stuff. He's got a race over in Kalamazoo, and Dave Morgan running against Jim Hosman. Now, we've had them here both at the same time for 1 hour, and we're going to do that again. I believe it's next. Is it next Monday? It might be next Monday. And they've been on separately, too. That's a big race. Your race is a big race also, because there are 4 candidates, although you wouldn't know it. We did hear from Libertarian candidate Ronald Hawkins and talked to him and got his viewpoint on some things. Don't know if we'll hear from the rest, but what are you hearing when you go out and talk to these people right now? What are they telling you?
Well, I think it's important to be accessible to the voters, and so I've participated in a couple forums, one in Marshall and one in Kalamazoo, and I've been knocking doors in this rain or whatever it is, hail, I don't know. But, what I've heard are the similar message from the primary. Reform auto insurance, we have the highest rates in the country. Those citizens are looking for reform. 49 other states have figured it out. Fix roads and our crumbling infrastructure, and they don't want us to raise taxes to do that. The Democrats think we should raise taxes, and that has already been done. Now we need to find it in the budget and set priorities. And then lastly, let's keep the Michigan economy rolling. Let's not turn back to the lost decade, and I will promote pro-growth, low taxes, and a healthy regulatory environment so we can keep growing the economy here in Calhoun County.
It seems puzzling to me that, so many people want to deny the fact that unemployment is as low as it's been in I don't know how long, and our economy is doing well, but yet, all of a sudden that doesn't matter because somebody doesn't like somebody else. The Republican Party's done pretty well right now.
Well, that's right, Tim, and I was thinking about that on the way here. When you do an interview like this, nobody wants to talk about the economy. They only ask me about these wedge issues, and why is that? Well, the reason is because Republicans have revived our economy both here in Michigan and across the state, and they've done that by keeping taxes low, by creating a healthy regulatory environment, and being laser focused on job creation and, like manufacturing. I mean, one manufacturing job has a huge multiplier here. And, I went down to the Fort Custer Industrial Park and saw what they're doing over there, and it's incredible. The job creation, the manufacturing jobs, and that helps our whole economy. And you look at these Democrats, what are they focused on? They're identity politics, and they're off track. We need to stay focused on the economy. We need to continue this recovery, Tim, and I'll do that.
Certainly, it seems like they want to divide people with a lot of these issues, as you say, rather than focusing on the big picture, which is if a family has economic freedom, they can accomplish just about anything.
That's right, and you look at the war on our law enforcement. I'm endorsed by the Police Officers Association of Michigan, the Fraternal Order of Police, and I will stand with our law enforcement. And you look at these Democrats, and, this used to be something we all agreed on, that we love our police and our fire and our first responders. And now these Democrats, they treat them with such disrespect. I think that's wrong, and you see it other places too. They want to fundamentally change this country. They don't support English as our official language. They don't support ending sanctuary cities. And this is a big problem, and I will fight for our our values, for our Judeo-Christian values that made this country great.
Do you think they really believe those issues, or are they just, posturing for votes?
I don't know the answer to that, but they're certainly posturing to a very rabid left-wing base, and it's very scary when you see these people in their black masks with bats, and these people are who the Democrats are pandering to now, and you don't see Republicans and conservatives resorting to this kind of violence to get our way, but Democrats, for whatever reason, do, and it's unfortunate, but I will stay focused on our economy, keeping it growing, building a strong manufacturing base in our state, and defending our constitutional rights, things like the Second Amendment and the right to life.
Matt Hall is the candidate for the 63rd House seat. Matt, I didn't mention where that is. It's kind of like the southern part of Calhoun County and the eastern part of Kalamazoo County.
Yes.
And if you go in those areas, you'll see a lot of Matt Hall signs, as I did Saturday on the way back from Kalamazoo. Saw quite a few there, because that area between Kalamazoo and Battle Creek is going to be 63rd territory. There are 4 candidates in the race. I mentioned that we'd heard from one, Libertarian Ronald Hawkins. I think it says something about the effectiveness, the potential effectiveness of somebody holding office for the first time when you watch how hard they work in a campaign. You certainly hit the ground running and seem to be running a very effective campaign, Matt.
Well, thank you, and I'm pleased that every time I come on here, you're coming back from Kalamazoo, because you see all my signs and you bring that up. But I'm proud of that. I have a lot of great supporters. I'm honored to have their support, and they're looking for someone who's focused on the economy, someone who wants to grow our manufacturing. And I'm honored. I have so much support, and I mentioned the Police Officers Association of Michigan. I have the Michigan Chamber, the Small Business Association of Michigan, the National Federation of Independent Business, the Michigan Realtors, the Michigan Manufacturers. And you wonder why? Why are all the major job creators in Michigan supporting me, Matt Hall? And the reason is I'm focused on growing our economy, keeping taxes low, and creating a healthy regulatory environment for business. And don't kid yourself, Tim. These Democrats will create huge regulations on business, and they want to raise your taxes. And that's exactly the wrong recipe for improving Michigan's economy. I will fight that, and I'll defend our economy.
First thing you mentioned, auto insurance reform, and you mentioned we're higher than anybody. How would you accomplish that? What's the plan?
Well, I would accomplish that by allowing more choices, more plans for consumers. We've talked about this before, and there need to be more choices, more plans. I think unlimited lifetime catastrophic benefits should be one of those plans, but there need to be more. And when you're making a decision whether to be insured or not because of the price, lower prices means more people will be insured. There was a bill to do that last year. I would have voted yes. But now I will be working with the new members of the legislature to find a solution that can get to the number of votes to pass.
Yeah, and I would say that probably there are people on both sides of the aisle that would like to get this done somehow or another if they can just agree on how to do it. Because our rates are very high, and it means that a lot of our motorists are going to drive uninsured and break the law.
Right, and when they do that and they get into an accident, then that raises our premiums. We're paying for that.
Second thing was the roads, and that gets to be a complicated beast, but you just never know. I mean, you drive around the 63rd district, and one township, the roads seem fine. The next township, you're thinking, I don't think I want to drive in this township anymore.
Yeah, and especially Leroy Township, where you live, that's my first priority, is fixing your road right by your house.
Yeah, that's good. I like hearing that because it is a rough one. By the way, you just reminded me. I want to give a shout out to the Leroy Township Fire Department. Power lines went down a block from my house out in the middle of nowhere. These guys were out there all day with the fire truck and warning motorists, making sure everybody was safe. and calling Consumers Power Company every 3 minutes probably to say, hey, you know, we need you guys out here. And consumers came out and took care of the problem. It was a really nasty one too, but the Leroy Township Fire Department really came through and did a great job out there this weekend. Down power lines are nothing to be messed with.
Oh, that's great to hear. We love our firefighters and our police. And to answer your question, you know, we need to look at how the road funding is allocated. I've heard many times on your show about how townships can't get the funding through the formula. We need to look at that. And then also the difference between me and the Republicans and the Democrats here is that we will fix the roads without raising taxes. They've already raised taxes for this, and the Democrats, when they talk about fixing the roads, they're talking about dramatically increasing taxes. That's the wrong idea. So what we need to do is we need to prioritize the money in the budget. I proposed, you know, making all of the gas tax go to roads. But we will prioritize that money. There's $57 billion in the budget, and roads really should be one of the top 2 or 3 priorities. That needs to be funded first, and I'll fight for that.
Yeah, because the longer we wait, the more expensive it's going to be, and as we keep finding out. Yeah. What's the other the thing that people are talking about besides roads and auto insurance reform when you go out and talk to people door to door?
Well, we mentioned the economy, and you know, I also hear a lot about you know, our constitutional rights and things like protecting the Second Amendment. You know, my opponent and the Democrats, you know, they want to take away those constitutional rights, and I will fight to defend them. I'm endorsed by the National Rifle Association. I'm endorsed by Michigan Right to Life. I'm honored by that, and I will defend our constitutional rights, Tim.
What's your feeling about the general mood of the citizens of Michigan and the country? You know, there's one side that says, "Oh yeah, the Democrats are gonna take over a majority in state legislatures and also in the House," and then other people are saying, "You know what? This whole Kavanaugh thing has just made a lot of people on the right angry. They're going to get out en masse." And what's your feeling? Which way do you think it's going to go?
Well, I remember 2 years ago at this time when we were being told that Donald Trump had lost and Republicans were going to have enormous minorities in the House and Senate, and we surprised them on Election Day. They called us deplorables, but they learned that day that people who work for a living, you know, people who raise their families, maybe it's rural voters, they called it flyover country. We stand for the policies of the Republican Party, of limited government, of growing our economy, and defending our constitutional rights. And so I believe the Democrats will be very surprised on Election Day. The voters will recognize the great work the Republicans have done to grow our economy, and I think we'll succeed and win across the country.
Happened 2 years ago, and they said there was no chance that the Trump or the Republicans could possibly win, and we saw what happened. So see what happens in 2 weeks from tomorrow. Matt, thanks for stopping by today, and best of luck with your campaign. Got a few more days to knock on doors, and hopefully we'll be talking to you again if we can fit in some more candidates between now and the election.
All right. Thank you, Tim.
Right. Matt Hall, 63rd House seat candidate. He is the Republican running along with 3 other challengers for the seat.